So if you're getting hungry, it's the better food thing continues, because summertime certainly means a bounty of fresh produce, whether that's at your local farmer's market or at a grocery store.
Yeah, and summer soups are a quick and easy way to make the most of that produce.
Right. I love soup too.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the summer, whether it be cold or hot, and I know you're mostly chilled soups.
Yes.
But sometimes you go to these summer parties and they have these gorgeous chilled soups,
Yes.
and you have a formula. We can do that with any vegetable.
Every single thing. And it's also about using up, because in the summer you always have, I buy spinach by the gallon and I never eat it all. And I hate to throw things away. So it's even things you get at the farmer's market or anything like that. How can you reuse it, repurpose it, and turn it into a beautiful soup? So the first thing you start with is your vegetable. And you can pick any vegetable in the world. One that I have right now that we're cooking is asparagus.
Okay.
So now I happen to have some cooked asparagus because I had a party this weekend and I had leftover from the crudité platter. So this is just cold cooked asparagus.
That's a good idea too. If you put out a veggie tray, you can turn it, you don't have to throw it away.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've got, so asparagus is my vegetable. That's what I'm starting with. The next thing that you're going to go to is an aromatic. And so is that garlic? Is it onion, shallots, leeks, and garlic? Any of the little things that are kind of stinky. Those are aromatics. And they give a lot of depth to whatever you're making. So with this, I just used shallots because it's a little delicate and I didn't want to overpower the asparagus. So I used shallots here. Just softened the shallots in a little bit of olive oil. Then I covered it with water. And then the next thing I added was what I call my bodybuilder. So with any kind of vegetable, some of them have more or less body than the rest. So asparagus, kind of watery, doesn't have a lot of body, so I want to add something that's going to give it some depth without having to add a lot of heavy cream or even yogurt or anything like that. All of those things are bodybuilders too. Olive oil is a bodybuilder. You could do a thickener with the flour, but with a cold soup, maybe not. So instead of doing that, I cheat and I add a potato because then that gives it some body without having to also pack on some other things.
Healthier too.
Cover that with water, cook the potato, and then that's pretty much it. So then once the potato is cooked, you can, if your vegetable isn't already cooked, you can pop that in to cook it, like say you're doing a bag of frozen peas or something like that, just until it's done. And then we put it into the blender. Now before I do that though, I want to keep going. So the liquid was the last thing. In this I just used water because I wanted to stay light. You could use chicken stock, beef stock. If you wanted it to be fishy, you could do fish stock. You could do lots of different things. But water, again, keeping the calories down, keeping it simple, keeping it light. So after we blend it, I'm going to go to my next thing. So we're just going to put the asparagus in, again, because it was already cooked. And then I have my, my potato and shallots and a little bit of water. You can see it's not a whole heck of a lot of water there. So quick, we're going to...
Could you use an immersion blender too if you had one?
You could. That's a great question, Kara. The only caveat that I would say with an immersion blender is that immersion blender doesn't always get it completely homogeneous and smooth. So you might want to run it through something like this, which then you can get it through, which will make it very thin.
This is something you buy at the Perfect Pair?
You can.
A cooking tool?
It's a sieve or a tammy. It's a kitchen tambourine. So yeah, it's called a tammy. You can also use it to sieve flour, but this is a great way to get an incredibly smooth thing. It'll take all the fibers out. Or you can cheat and use a really good high-speed blender. And so that's what I've got here. And it's just going to take a second, so hold on. All right, so that is pretty much, and you can see you get a beautiful puree. It's very, very nice and smooth and light. So then the next point we're going to go to is what I call a brightener. Because a lot of times when you puree up veggies like this, you're going to get something that might be a little bit dull. Do you want to give it a try?
Sure, definitely.
Just give it a try and see. Yeah, I love green soups anyway.
But it's so good and so healthy.
But a little flat,
and
maybe.
Really fresh. Yeah.
Maybe a little flat.
A little bit flat.
So with this, then you're going to take...
Not as light. Not as light.
Not as light, right? So now you're going to take something that's going to give it a little bit of a pop in your mouth. And that can be anything from distilled white vinegar, red wine vinegar. Citrus is really great, though. Lemon or lime.
Or citrus.
Are going to give it a little bit of that.
Will it also keep it, like I'm wondering, if you were serving a little bit later, would the green start to not turn so green and the lemon will preserve it?
That's a great point. The trick actually is cooking it before the vegetable is really, really well cooked.
Okay,
and then,
let it keep
and
green.
then
Don't cook it too
chilling
long.
it.
Okay.
Right.
Or like
So
avocado, will it go brown if you
so
don't
as
put-
soon as you chill it, actually, that also helps lock in the flavor.
Okay.
So with avocado, that's a great question here. And let me just go ahead and move on to the other soups that I've made so you guys can try them too before we get back to the asparagus. The seasoning is the next part of it. And avocado is a great example of a vegetable that I love to get, but you always get them and they're hard as rocks.
Yes.
And they
Yeah.
don't, by the time they're ripe, they're rotten and you can't really eat them.
Yeah.
So an avocado soup is actually a great way to use that hard avocado. You cook it like a potato, puree it, and then you season it. And this one, the avocado, actually, I seasoned with lime juice, just like you would a, just like you would,
It's so pretty.
you know, a guacamole. Or
Right.
something like that. So there's your avocado seasoned with a little bit of lime juice, and the lime juice and the little bit of oil that's in there actually protect it and keep it from
That's
turning.
amazing. So that's the two ingredients?
Yes.
That's amazing. So
It's got an
Avocado and
onion
lime
and
juice,
garlic
and
and
that's it.
everything
Onion and
too.
garlic.
Yeah.
I'm just getting us some spoons,
That's
Laura.
incredible.
So now the other thing here too is then how do you garnish something like this? Because
Okay.
garnish is a key element here. So that I just put again, it's guacamole, right? So I put in a little bit of tomato and I'm going to garnish it with a little bit of feta cheese just to give it a little bit more body. And now the other soup that I did a big batch of spinach. And this is
Okay.
cold. The same thing. I did potato and onion, and then I just wilted the spinach, pureed it, and cooled it immediately so that it would stay cool.
This is
We're
So
out
these
of
are
time,
so
but this is such a
easy.
great formula
Yeah.
because you have this all for us, and
Yeah.
whatever vegetable we have, we can
Yeah.
just follow that little. You can watch the video
Yes.
on betterct.com. Here's also a graphic chart. You can maybe screenshot on your phone and save that because this is like this is how you turn any vegetable into a soup. Thank you so much, Laura.
You're welcome. Thank
It's
you.
great, especially for the hot weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
We're gonna eat this in a second, but first let me tell you that the Perfect Pair sells practical
So
and beautiful
good.
wares for the kitchen. You're gonna find more information online at perfectpairct.com.
Yeah, the shop is located at 51 Main Street, right in beautiful Chester. Thank you
This
so
is
much.
really
Thank you,
good.
Irene.